Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are watching this from. Um, I'm waiting for Kristy to come on this live. She needs a couple of minutes, so we're just gonna wait here, listen to some nice spiritual music, as I like to call it, and we'll get right on to unmasking career change myths. So fun fact on how I met Kristy. I've never met her face to face before, and she's been really persistent in reaching out to myself and to other coaches through Instagram content engagement, and I really admire her for doing that. And so when she was in Bali, she sent me a message and said, "Hey, I'm in a time zone. Shall we do a live together?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I really applaud her for doing that. And she's been speaking to lots of people already in the space, and really excited to speak to someone who shares the same mission as I do. So yeah, really excited for this conversation, and I'm just looking to my right because that's when my Instagram chat is at, and I'm checking if she's coming on. So it's gonna be us having a conversation about what we commonly hear when it comes to career change. There are a lot of myths that we want to really unmask here today. And these myths really prevent people from quitting jobs that aren't serving them anymore, quitting jobs that are draining, quitting jobs that are killing them inside and sometimes outside if it's a really long, draining hour type job. And we're hoping that from this live session you will hear a different perspective, a different view on what could be your future career and how to get there, and maybe take the steps to do that. I'm just gonna give a couple more minutes and then we'll start the conversation. So I'm playing like music that I'm not sure if you guys can hear. If you can, please let me know. This is one of my favorite songs from my favorite show, and I feel like it's a nice way to start this live session. What we also want to talk about here today are ways that you can obviously work with us directly, or if you have any questions at all that you're just a bit afraid to ask because you're not sure if it's the right time, right space, I'm going to tell you this is the right space to ask the questions. Drop them in the comments if you have any, and Kristy and I will do my best to answer them during this live. It's quite unusual for people to join lives and contribute and engage, but hopefully today you'll be able to change that. All right, let me try to invite Kristy now.
Hello.
Hi, Kristy.
Hi, good to see you.
Good to see you as well. How are you settling in?
Yeah, so I'll tell you all about it later. It was a little bit of glitches and things, but I'm very happy to be here and to virtually meet you because we've actually never met each other in person.
Yes, I was
That's
just telling some of the people who have joined that I've
not met you face to face before. So it's gonna be fun anyways.
That's a great thing about like social media these days, you know, that you get connected with people who you probably would have never connected with, because pretty much of the distance, you know. So it's actually really amazing what technology can do these days, I think.
I agree. I've met so many people, so many clients who have not heard about me before, and then when they speak to me, sometimes I'm surprised, like, oh, how do you know so much about me? And that's also the beauty of social media.
It is funny because you actually feel like you know someone actually really well. Meanwhile, you don't. But yeah,
Yeah,
you can get to know so much about a
yeah,
person. Um,
yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
I'm excited that you're here.
Yeah, are you ready to bust some myths,
Oh
some
yeah,
career change myths?
yes.
Yeah. So I actually wrote like the top 10 down. So I thought maybe I can just read them aloud and then we can just discuss them.
Yeah.
Because I think
Well,
still,
actually, before that, do you want to share a quick intro about yourself? Yeah.
yeah. So basically, I help women who are feeling stuck in their career. Most of my clients, they've been in a burnout before. And through the burnout, they've changed because they started on the personal development journey. They've learned how to set boundaries, and those kind of things. And then they actually realize that their job is just not making them happy anymore. And they actually really want something else. They want something more fulfilling, more meaningful. They want to be more creative. And they want to like really give back to society, because a lot of women that I speak to, they feel like they're doing a job, they're very good at it, but it feels so meaningless, so empty. And they really want to help other people and really give back to society and see that their work is actually doing something for others. So then we go on that journey of self-discovery, like who are you and what do you really want and what's really going to make you feel fulfilled, without worrying about the expectations of your parents and your friends and trying to fit in. It's a bit of a long story, but
Yeah, I know.
that's pretty much.
I resonate a lot with that. And that's also what my career change journey is like, and so many of my clients as well. And most of my clients are in a phase where they have already kind of decided that they want to make a career change, right? But then they go back and forth with like, should I do it? And I'm afraid, as you said, of my parents' expectations, society expectations. But they also kind of know deep down that they have this yearning or this calling to do something a little bit more positive,
Mm,
something a bit more meaningful in their jobs. Because after all, we are spending quite a lot of time in our day-to-day work. Why not put that into something that's, positively impacting the world, or just in your community, or just in your family, right? If you're happier in your job, you are happier in your family as well. And yeah, I'm really excited to bust some myths, because through my journey of coaching, I lots of fears and myths comes up. And even when you talk to people on the street who are not necessarily your clients but just strangers, you kind of do hear some of the myths come up, and that common misconceptions. So yeah, you were gonna say that you're gonna kind of mention a few things, and maybe we can bust them together.
yeah, because it's such a pity, that actually so many people have so much potential and they can do so much more, but because of these myths, because of these limiting beliefs, these obstacles that they see, that's why they don't take any action. So a big one, and this is what I hear from my clients very often, that's that they think that they're too old to change their career.
Mm,
And I believe that it's never too late to find something that really truly fulfills you, because you also have so many transferable skills. You have so much working experience that you can use in different industries. I always also love the example of Colonel Sanders,
mm.
the inventor of KFC. He got
Yeah.
in the 70s or something, and he made a huge success. And I mean, there's so many examples of women who started writing a book or started to become an actress or And I also have clients, who, for example, went from marketing to interior design, or to teaching. Meanwhile, they were from a corporate job, or like doing something completely different. And yeah, some they had to study something, or they had to learn a few things, maybe do some courses in something. But it is possible.
Yeah, I also have heard this way too often, and you'll be surprised how often you hear this from every age group. Even at 20 something, someone would say it's too late because they think I've gone to university and I studied this degree. If I change my role or industry, I would waste all of my university degrees and experiences. And then you have all the way to like the 40s and even 50s where people are like, I've already climbed the ladder so high. And if I change my job now, I would waste all this time. And what I really like to share is if it's too it's I will always say it's too late when only when you die, right? We
Really? Yeah.
yeah, we have so much time ahead of us. At the same time, life is also short. There's this juxtaposition of time that we really have to respect. And like you said, I've also met people who have changed industries as a celebrity. Colonel Sanders is a very good example. But if you really have a chat with people in your community and just network, you actually will find so many more stories of career change that may not be so apparent to you because maybe you haven't asked about it before or talked to someone about it before. So I feel like it's something actually very common and it's not unusual anymore. In the Asian culture, you believe that you have to follow a specific path. Like it's always usually like banking, engineering,
Yeah.
or being a doctor, right? This is like we're in a different century now. There's no like straight one path towards anything. So yeah, it's totally a myth.
It's also, I think, also here now, for me being here in Bali, is like also very eye-opening. The amount of people that are starting like startups, starting their own companies,
Yeah,
young people, but also older people. And also a lot of people here soul searching and looking for a new career kind of thing. So it's not all like, I know a lot of people are not talking about start your own company, but you don't have to do that. There's also, you don't have to become a freelancer. There's so many cool jobs out there that you can do with your transferable skills. So don't immediately
yeah,
think, oh, I'll start my own business. If you want to, you can, but there's also so many interesting jobs that you can do with the knowledge and skills you have. And I think a lot of employers actually want to hire. They will teach you the things, the things that you don't know. A lot of them, if they see potential in you, they will teach you whatever you are missing. So remember that.
yeah. And I know someone who's actually in Bali. And she's working remotely, right? And
Cool.
there's so many potential um, job, how do you call that, requirements or how you package a job, right? You got to see what works for you and explore that. And I just want to also kind of segue to one really big myth is people think that they have to be 100% sure, 100% clear, and they wait, right? They wait for something an opportunity to come to you, then you act. And really, a career change is it's a process of really exploring, being open, and taking action, right?
Yeah,
Before,
yeah, and that's
yeah,
how you
and
figure it out.
yeah, and having just that inclination to say, I feel like something is not right in my career, and then taking action from there. Also recognizing that if you don't take action, you won't get the information, you won't get the ideas, or you won't get the knowledge of what potential careers are out there for you if you don't take action. Yeah, to me,
No,
that's one of the biggest myths as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, I have actually a personal example. So I knew I didn't like the office job, the 9 to 5, sitting behind my desk, someone telling me what to do and all these things. So I thought I wanted to get out of the office environment and be more creative, do something with my hands. So I thought, okay, I'm going to become a beautician. So I actually studied the whole course. At night I would go there and I actually did an internship somewhere. And then I realized, you know what, this is not I'm missing like the working with my head. Like I'm missing like I love also always had a love for psychology. I'm missing like that part. And but I don't ever regret having done that study because I learned so much from it, and also like starting a business and stuff because I did an internship for someone who started her own business like that, and I feel like it was a stepping stone to discovering that. But then I realized, no, I want to do something more with my head. So it's never like a wasted time or anything. So
Yeah,
sometimes you might go in different things before you get to what you really want to do, and that's okay.
yeah.
And
Had the exact I had the exact same experience before I became a career coach. I thought that I wanted to be a fitness coach. I went through the same training program. I actually right before the pandemic was an indoor cycling coach, instructor. I trained up every day up to 2 a.m. in the morning. I was tired.
wow.
It was really tough. I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, like just as you said, that something was
Yeah.
missing. I was just not clicking with that role. But someone along the way mentioned, hey, if not a fitness coach, why not a life coach? Right? If
Mhm.
I didn't go through that process and never didn't listen to that little suggestion, I wouldn't have explored this path. And then when I started exploring the path, that's when everything else, the floodgates opened. And then I decided to start my own business. And as you said, it's really about taking action. And I totally do not regret going for that instructor course because I learned so much about myself. Maybe fitness is not for me, but I like that coaching element and I just kind of pivoted a little bit. And it's really a series of pivots, right? Just as you said.
And otherwise you also always have the what ifs. What if that fitness instructor would have been my dream job or my passion or whatever? And I always, say you should have a life with no regrets. That if you one day do this exercise with my clients, you sit on your porch and you're 90 years old and you look back on your life, what do you want to have said about yourself and how do you want your children to speak about you? And that's what a lot of people have on their deathbed, that they regret that they didn't go for their dreams and they tried. And it's not going to be meaty chip. Okay, you're going to find your passion. A lot of times it is like going in different corners, exploring things. Maybe it's not that,
Mm.
but as long as you keep on looking, searching.
Yeah, I had the exact same experience. One day I was struggling with anxiety. I was in my previous job. I went to work one day. I sat down, I looked at my desk, and I was like, do I really want to do this every single day, meeting these people in this environment? And that was the moment I knew that it was time to leave. And I think a really common myth, the next thing that I wanted to also talk about is people think that it is selfish for you to choose something else that is better serving you, right? They think that if I change my job, then I'm wasting again my education, I'm wasting people's time, even my existing colleagues' time, my existing boss for training me. They feel like if I make a career change, it's really, really selfish. But it's actually the the most it's actually, yes, a little bit selfish, but the consequence of that is selfless, right? And I like to give this example to my clients, and I say, look, if you are a happier person,
Mm.
if you are in your element, if you are totally proud of your job, if you are performing well because it's easier for you to do that job, wouldn't you help everyone else? Right? You will earn more, you will be happier, you will start performing better and therefore contributing more to the company or the team. And ultimately, it's a selfless consequence or impact. And finally, if it's a meaningful job, then at least the 9 to 5 that you're spending, or flexible hours that you're spending, is putting to something actually positive. You're gonna work anyways, right?
Yeah.
The reality is that you have to work. We all live in a capitalist world. We need money to survive. So why not do that and serve a bigger purpose at the same time, right?
I think it really has to do also with self-love, and yeah, it is really good to put your self first and fill up your own cup first, because then you can pour onto others. And I think it also really causes a ripple effect on the rest of your life. So therefore, I don't think really it's really that selfish, because if you are prioritizing your happiness, then you will probably have better relationships also with your kids. You're gonna be happier, have more energy to play with your kids.
Yeah.
So you have a good relationship with your husband, to see your friends. I remember when I was feeling very miserable in my job, I didn't feel like seeing my friends. I
We
didn't feel like going out. I didn't feel
complain a lot.
yeah. Just moaning and groaning and complaining about everything. Like life just was shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah,
yeah,
so therefore, um, put yourself first. Make yourself a priority.
yeah,
That's also a lot of women. They find that very difficult to make themselves a priority. Always
yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah, and I guess one of the myths that we maybe didn't write down in our list before, Christy, is people think that career change is just a surface level change, right? They think that, oh, it's a job change. I just get paid by a different company, a different way. But what it is actually it changes a lot of within you if you make a meaningful career change. Um, you actually do feel like a different person, and it's a confirmation that you love yourself, right?
Yeah, because you're
It's
stepping out of
yeah,
your comfort zone, doing something
yeah,
scary, and then you pretty much are going on this personal development journey, because you're gaining more confidence. You get the courage to get out your comfort zone. You gain confidence because of that, and through doing something else, you're learning and growing, and that's the most beautiful thing, I think, when we all are on this personal development journey, on this personal growth journey.
yeah, exactly that. It is really a personal development journey, and you really uncover a lot about yourself. If you're in your current job and you're thinking, okay, this is just me, and when you start getting on and taking action on the career change journey, you realize that a lot of the labels that you once put on yourself, you can change. And that's so empowering. And once you change all these labels, you realize that actually there's more paths for me to explore. There's more versions of myself that I haven't explored before. And it's honestly quite life changing, right? Career change is life changing. And it's not just a simple, yeah, someone else pays me, that's it.
It really is. And I actually really like this myth, and that is that you have to meet all the job requirements to apply. And I hear this a lot, and that people don't apply because they're like, yeah, I don't have all the things that they're asking for. And I think what's really important to know, this is just a wish list, huh? It's not, they're also just putting on everything that they are, just trying to see. But they'll be also very happy if you don't have all the skills, and they will teach you the things. So don't be like, oh, because I don't tick all the boxes, I'm not going to apply for the job. And I also had that with a client recently, that she went from a sales position to a product owner position, and she went to 2 interviews. They said no, and you can quit then after that, right? But no, she just went to another interview also as a product owner, and they hired her
Oh, nice.
because her transferable skills. They saw something in her. They saw potential in her, and that's why they hired her, because they knew
Mm.
teach her certain things.
Yeah, I think I went through the same thoughts as I made a career change. I thought that I had to meet all the criteria, and this is a big mistake because if you meet every single requirement, you're going to be so bored of that job when you start,
Yes, this is such a
right?
good one.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
going to be so bored. Yeah, and I think maybe the fear is that if I apply and I don't qualify, all of it, it's kind of like a rejection. They're afraid of hearing in the interview, oh, you don't have this, right? But as I say, if you have everything, you'll be so bored. Where is the growth? You want to have progression in your next role, right? If you're doing everything 100%, then what else is there? Then you have to keep changing your job scope every year, right? So it's really about, I think the rule of thumb that I tell my clients is if you meet at least 70%, that's enough, right? Don't aim for 100%, 70% provides that room. And I think when you go through the job change process, you really want to aim for networking, not applying, because sometimes if you apply online, the ATS system would track everything. Might aim for 100%, but if you go about the networking path, you can really also demonstrate your transferable skills in a more, I guess, explain how that applies situationally. So, for example, in your case, a salesperson may not have direct product experience, but if she would mention specific skills that you might use in the product role, and in a networking session, it's very clear to the hiring manager that actually she can do the job, right? And I think,
What about
yeah, sorry, you wanted to say something?
No, I just wanted to add to that because you were talking about networking. I was like, oh, something popped up, and that's that she actually got the job through her network. So it was actually a friend of a old colleague. That was pretty much going on LinkedIn, looking at her whole network, who's working where, and seeing, oh, they're connected. Oh, he knows her, and that's how she actually went on a coffee date with someone, which ended up him sending
Amazing.
to the hiring manager. So that's also
Yeah.
pretty by using
Yeah,
your.
yeah. And it's one of the best ways and quickest ways for me to make a career change. I have a client who went through networking, went through applying, and it was because of networking that she got an interview within just 1 week of messaging people online. So
It's
also,
crazy.
yeah, it's so powerful. And one of the things that I think also came up as a big myth is people think that you really have to start over from scratch. Like if if I was already a senior manager in the team and if I wanted to pivot to a different industry, I have to start from analyst. And then the mistake that they make is they look at all the junior jobs, the fresh graduate jobs, and they look at that and they say, I don't like that. And then they just abandon the career change journey altogether. But it's such a big myth because when you make a career change where you are at, you are actually considering everything that you've learned, skill, experience, even things in your personal life that you do
Yeah.
that make you a whole person. And that whole person is making the career change, not just this title version of you, senior manager in that current job. So such a big myth, and people think that you have to apply for you have to go for a new certification and a new university. While all those are really helpful, and I definitely do recommend it, it shouldn't stop you from exploring in the first place, right? Some people already qualify for a lot of the job changes, but they think that I have to pick up this new skill first, and that really prevents them. So a big myth that I'm seeing that I hope through this live we can kind of like remove and bust some of them.
And what kind of goes together with that is also the pay cut. You know, that they think if they go to a different career that then they have a pay cut. And sometimes, look, if it's something completely different, then sometimes it could be that's for a short while, for a bit. But if you're doing something that you're much more passionate about and that you much more enjoy doing it, you're gonna get a promotion. You're gonna, climb the ladder so much faster than you would have done at your current company. So maybe if you say your salary is here, maybe you go down like here for a little bit, but then you're gonna go like that. And so it would be such a waste if you're like, oh no, I don't want to go here. And it's not always a given, because sometimes because of your transferable skills and all your, maybe you've been in a leadership role for many years, they'll be like, happy to offer you a higher salary than what you do now. But you don't know if you don't know. If you don't even go for the interview, if you don't
Yeah.
even try, how are you going to even know if you're going to get a salary cut, you know? That's the whole problem, that you're already seeing so many objections along the way. You don't even try. You don't even go into the interview. So it's, um,
Yeah. And I find that like a lot of I find that a lot of the instances where a pay cut is involved is usually when it's a really high demanding job to a less demanding job. And so I always tell my clients, if you're having better work-life balance, you have more hours to yourself, you have more sleep, then it offsets each other for that pay cut, right? And that's like a sure yes to me, right? But there are again some instances where my clients are getting better salaries, and that's because they learn the skill of negotiating.
mm,
That's some, and you'd be surprised at how many people in the later part of their careers have never negotiated in their lives before.
yeah.
And it's honestly, for me, I only started negotiating when I was 20, 25. And I think I'm quite early, but there are so many people who aren't taught this skill. It's not something you learn in school. It's not something that your parents teach you. And so it's really understandable why we don't have that skill. But once you have it, you are able to also negotiate a bigger salary if you make a career change. And I totally agree with you. If you're good at this job and that if the role comes naturally to you, you will definitely perform way quicker and add value. And that's again a leverage for you to negotiate a higher salary down the line.
Yeah, I think if you also go on that personal development journey and you work on your confidence and stuff like that, then you definitely will be able to be better in the negotiation. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, because you
exactly.
touch things that scare you.
Yeah.
And another thing, what I also think is important to know is like, what is your definition of success? Because is it necessary
Mm.
all the time, more money, more money? Because, okay, I like this money topic is always something, but look, I believe you definitely need a certain amount of money, but that certain amount is different for all of us. Like for me, it would be I want to have the freedom to be able to travel and do the things I want to do. But you know, sometimes we just want aim for more, more, more. We want more money so that we can buy more things that we don't need. Like, what do you really need? Do you really need 10 Louis Vuitton bags, or is one enough? Or do you even need one? You know, kind of thing. So also think about that. What are you going to do with that salary raise? Like, what do you need that money for? Is it really necessary? Or are you just going to spend it on things that you don't really need? Or what? Yeah. So what is your definition of success?
Yeah. And I want to,
Terms.
yeah, totally. And I think for me, when I coach my clients, I realize that a lot of the attachment towards having that money comes from their relationship and the safety they feel for money. They feel like if I take like just 5% cut, it's like, oh, it's alarms are ringing, it's unsafe. Or
Mm,
if there's, yeah, if I'm going from a stable income to a more of a flexible commission-based income, again, the alarms are ringing. So, so I think it's a very understandable fear, but at the same time, it's important to also look at it from a different perspective, right? Again, if I'm taking this little pay cut, if I'm changing this role, what am I getting? If I'm getting more hours, if I'm getting more fulfillment, how much is that value,
yeah.
right? And maybe that's the part that I resonate more with when it comes to
Mm.
definition of success. Do I
Yep.
want to tell my friends that I can afford a Louis Vuitton bag, or do I want to tell them the impact that I made last month with this group of community, or this is the change that I created in the company? I think having that definition of success and really stepping back and looking at your relationship with money will definitely help you bust the myth that you have to take a pay cut.
Or, you know, what type of mom do you want to be? Do you want to be the mom that's always gone and always working, or that's also, you know, there sometimes for your kids? There's so many, everybody, I mean, and I'm not saying the one thing is right or the other thing is wrong. I'm just
Mm,
more like, you need to
mm.
find that for yourself, and not do it according to what other people are doing, but really get to know yourself on a very deep level so that you know what that definition of success and fulfillment is to you, because it's so, so different to everyone.
Yeah, and your season of life changes, right? When you're when you're just single without kids, and when you're a mom, your requirements change and you have
Different.
to change with it. And if you're stuck in a job that doesn't give you that, because you fear that you have to start over, what you're really starting over is your life season, right? You have to really adapt to that. And yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then they say, it can be risky and irresponsible. But I also think that, like, when I ask, for example, clients, okay, a lot of times they have a buffer, or they're going to get a buffer, or they're going to lend some money, but then eventually they're going to get a better job so they can pay back, or they have, like, a lot of times people can actually realize the things, but yeah, it's again the fears, that maybe it's irresponsible or something. But again, it goes to what is more important: fulfillment. If you stay in the job, maybe you're going to get a burnout, maybe you're going to get sick. Then what's going to happen,
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree, and that's something that I come across a lot as well. They think that if I change my job, I'm changing a different environment, therefore it's risky. But I often ask them, have you changed bosses in your current job before? And then they're like, yeah, I have. You're in your stable job that you're in, changes happen anyways, and there's a lot of risk, right? Your job scope might change because the company requirements change. And they also think that it's irresponsible because I maybe have kids, I need to pay my bills, my husband doesn't support me on this. And again, the reminder is that in your current job, it's irresponsible to teach your kids that you should just keep the money, keep the things afloat, even though you're so unhappy. Maybe it's also responsible to your husband, because what is it telling your husband that he has to work really hard and not fulfill his own passions, right? So I feel like that this is a big myth, and once you unmask it, and that you can actually have both. Obviously, there are some changes and compromises that you have to make, but it should always align with your life season. And as long as it's aligned, then it's healthy for you and your family.
What I also tell my clients is, or I ask them, does your husband even know what an effect your job is having on your mental health right now? Because a lot of times people are not even open and honest about that. And if their husband would know what an effect it has, then they would probably also be like, I want you to be happy in life. I want you to find something meaningful. And again, like what I said before, with the ripple effect, that you may be more snappy, more grumpy, it's important to do something that fulfills you. And then it
Yeah,
all comes down, that life is short. We're all going to die one day. So you might as well
yeah,
make the
that,
most
yeah,
of life.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
go out and enjoy and have fun, and take risks. Sometimes we have to take risks in life to get what we want.
yeah.
Calculated risks, not to do something crazy, but there's so many little things that you can start doing already today.
Yeah, and people are taking calculated risks all the time that they don't realize. Like if I'm getting a haircut, right? I'm actually taking calculated risks, and they're actually better at doing that than they think. And I like that you mentioned about telling your husbands. I think sometimes even in the clients that I work with, they themselves don't realize it until everyone else is telling them, and they're just not listening. So I remember my own experiences. I was in a burnout job. I was not sleeping. I was awake up till 4 a.m. working until weekends as well. Yeah, it was really bad. I did not have chance to eat dinner with my family, breakfast even, and my dad would come and tell me, I haven't seen you in a week, even though we're staying in the same house. So in that instance, people were asking me, why aren't you quitting your job? And so I think sometimes it's also listening to what your loved ones are telling you. If they're saying you suffer, you're probably suffering, and you got to listen to what they say and start exploring. Okay, is this something that's really serving me right now? Because my loved ones are worried, and you don't want to worry them. Yeah,
No, and I think it also you don't want your children to see you like that
yeah,
either.
yeah,
Yeah. And then The one of the last ones that I found was that it will solve all my problems. No, it's not
Mm.
going to solve all your problems. Like, because I think it's like a holistic thing. You know, everything needs to be so. If you're not, you can be happy in your job, but if your relationship is not good or your health is not good, then you know what do you have? So the best thing would be then all areas in your life that it's kind of balanced. And therefore, what I really think is important to always be working on your mindset and going on that personal development journey, really working on yourself, on you setting your boundaries, learning to love yourself, self-care, being able to say no. I think that will really help you with your career change as well.
Yeah, I really like this last one, because people think that if I make a career change, I will therefore not burn out anymore. And that's not necessarily true if you have an unhealthy relationship with work, right? That
Yeah.
can be something a bit deeper. The job, no matter how many jobs you change, if you don't really confront what is your relationship with work, you will always burn out. And also, work is inherently stressful. And there are two types of stress, right? You have like good stress and bad stress. Even if you make a career change, life is not a beach. You won't really, have no conflicts to deal with. You won't have any challenges. No, that's not true, right? Work is still work, and it's not 100% of your life. So I think people often think that, okay, if I make a career change, I won't have these challenges. No. In fact, you will have more challenges. You will have more stress, but these stress and challenges are what you want, and it aligns with the growth that you're looking for. And I personally have lived this. I went through the challenge of um, kind of setting up myself as a team leader, as a head of the team, but I didn't want to manage my team from a different perspective where there is high competition. But in the team currently that I have, for example, everyone is working really well. So both different stresses, different challenges, but at least I'm here where I know that this is a challenge that I want to take daily. So when I come home from work every day, I know that, okay, this is worth my time, ultimately. Yeah.
So I love the saying also. It says, which pain do you choose? Because with every
Mm,
decision you make in life, there will always come a pain with it.
yes.
And you need to accept the pain because with everything, whatever we do in life, it will be, you have to accept all the positives, but also the negatives that comes with that
Yeah,
decision.
struggles. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one.
Amazing. I think we've covered them all, right? Well, I'm sure
I
there are
think
many more, but
so.
I mean, top the main.
Yeah, we definitely have. And I'm really hoping that for whoever's watching this, they will come away thinking that there's so many things that I used to believe about career change, and maybe it's time to retire them. Maybe it's time to take a like a what's that called? The glass, that magnifying glass, right? Take
Yes.
a magnifying glass,
I was
have a
thinking
look.
a knife for magnifying glass.
Yeah, that too. And see what is something that's not really serving me anymore, and can I really put that as a myth and build new beliefs about career change? What about you? What do you hope to those who are watching this to take away?
Well, I think what I've learned the most also from my personal development journey is that we create our life by our thoughts and what we believe. And basically, we can do so much through just changing our mindset. And I love that the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And I think a couple of years ago, I really had a fixed mindset. Like I thought I couldn't learn new things and I would always be like this. And now I'm like, wow. So if I change the way I think or talk to myself, I get a different emotion, and therefore I act differently
Differently.
in the outside world. And
Mm.
through my actions that are different, I create a new reality for myself. So I think that is just so powerful to know this, that it all starts with here.
And
What
it's
are you?
possible. Yeah.
And it's all possible. You can make your dreams your reality if you believe in yourself and you believe it's possible and you take action. Don't procrastinate. Don't
Yes.
be too perfectionist.
Yes.
Start.
Yeah.
Take that first.
I just want to add one last thing to that is I think people think this is like something mysterious. Mindset change sounds so complicated and different, but working with people, it could be coaches, therapists, even friends, and really discussing about your beliefs and mindset can really make it a lot simpler and easier, right? It's not something so vague that you can't touch. It's actually it can be so straightforward with support, obviously. Uh, or else you can always go through your own discoveries. But again, like you said, it's taking action and exploring, taking that magnifying glass and starting from somewhere, taking the first step.
100%. And if you just want to start with something small, try to read a book about mindset or watch a documentary. There's so many interesting documentaries, and that will plant the little seeds into like, I want to know more about
Yeah.
this.
Find evidence of career
Yeah.
change in
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, in the people that you meet,
Mhm.
in the stories that you see, the TV shows, dramas that you watch. Find evidence. I think that will be
Mm.
the
And speak to those
easiest way.
people. Go
Yeah,
talk to the people who've already achieved what you want to achieve. Ask them, how did you do it?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
All right. Thank you so much for today.
Yes.
Really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you so much, Kristy. And to, I guess, whoever is watching this, and if you found this really helpful, let us know. Let us both know if you want to watch us talk more about something else. Reach out to Kristy. She's also a career coach. And myself, I'm also a career coach. And we love doing this because we both share the same missions. And yeah, it's been really good, Kristy. Thank you so much again for reaching out to do this. This was really fun. I
Really
hope you're
fun.
enjoying Bali.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll
Have a
talk to you
wonderful day.
again.
Bye.
Bye.